Phala Phala report. Let's get into it. We are finally going to speak about the Phala Phala report, how two cops take the fall. But President Cyril Ramaphosa remains absolutely silent. Or should I say Ramaphosa? I can't believe you guys hadn't heard me say that. I say that very often because, the sofa situationship has finally come back to the forefront after suspended Minister Senzo Mchunu blocked the report from becoming public. Now that it's public, are you shocked? Are you really shocked? Raise your hand, put the hand emoji in the comment section if you truly are shocked. So let me jump straight into it. Today's video, I'm going to read an article from IOL written by Brandon, and I'm also going to give you an update from Bas Kruger on the Facebook streets. Let's get into it. So, the official in the presidency who illegally raided Lieutenant General Mfazi's home has been named in the Phala Phala cover-up. Remember, I did a video on General Mfazi. Please go check it out. I gave the details of everything, including what happened to him and how he died. Okay, so according to a protected disclosure to Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee that is investigating the allegations by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the former SAPS crime intelligence analyst, Mr. Philasande Doteni, Lieutenant General Mfazi was investigating the Phala Phala farm burglary matter. This has now been confirmed by the now declassified iPad report into Phala Phala. Now let me ask you this. What would have happened if the Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi from the tiny little province of KZN had not done that press briefing on the 6th of July 2026 while the president was out of the country? What would have happened? How would things have proceeded? Because so many things in the dark have come to light, all because of that press briefing. I mean, Sergeant Kosi would still be out here picking up white bags. He'll still be making his way to Harley Davidson. He'll still be a mentor to Mgulugudus. Then we also have, of course, Shadrach Sevilla. He could possibly be the National Commission. Anyway, you know what? Let me not digress. So, according to the protected disclosure, a toxicology report found that Lieutenant General Mfazi was poisoned with casein resin and not Covovos, as the government had claimed. I actually should look up how they had announced his passing at the time in light of recent events, of course. That's going to be really interesting to read all over again. So, further, according to the protected disclosure, Lieutenant General Mfazi had already uncovered that the SAPS Crime Intelligence Slush Fund. Where is Paul O'Sullivan? Why is Paul O'Sullivan not jumping up and down? Because when it comes to the Slush Fund, he's always all over it, inside, party, within. So I think we need to hear from Paul O'Sullivan because, now we know that Lieutenant General Mfazi had uncovered that the SAPS Crime Intelligence Slush Fund was illegally used for the unauthorized illegal SAPS operation into Phala Phala burglary. Further, according to the protected disclosure, just a few hours after the unaliving of Lieutenant General Mfazi, a chief of staff in the presidency, the current sitting presidency, just in case you're wondering, illegally raided Lieutenant General Mfazi's home and illegally confiscated Lieutenant General Mfazi's files and electronic gadgets and handed these files to General Vuma, who was also present at this raid. This official from the presidency is now revealed to be Malunga Mphego, the former spy boss of the State Security Agency. He's the one who, along with General Vuma, blocked the wife of Lieutenant General Mfazi from entering her own home, which Mrs. Mfazi eventually forced her way in and found Lieutenant General Mfazi unalived, lying in a pool of his own blood because casting raising poisoning causes severe bleeding. So, as Lieutenant General Mfazi was lying unalived in a pool of his blood and his family traumatized by finding the general in such a state, Malunga Mpejo and General Vuma were just, it was another day at the office. They were out there demanding all the electronics and wanted the dockets as well. Because those dockets included Phala Phala stuff. And it had to be taken. So let me read the protected disclosure, which says, I, Pilasande Doteni, former crime intelligence analyst in the South African Police, do hereby make this protected disclosure under the provisions of the Protected Disclosure Act number 26 of 2000. I appeared before the ad hoc committee on the 3rd of February 2026 to provide testimony regarding the investigations, threats, and assassination of Lieutenant General Sandile Christopher Mfazi, Deputy National Commissioner of SAPS. During that appearance, I was promised the opportunity to provide further evidence in camera, evidence that due to its sensitive nature and the risks involved could not be shared in an open hearing. That promise has not been fulfilled. I now make this disclosure in writing to place on record the evidence I was to provide. Why I came to Parliament and not to the President. Before I set out the evidence, I must explain why I bring this disclosure to this committee and not to the Commander-in-Chief of the country, the President of the Republic. The evidence contained in General Mfazi's pocketbook and contentious notes reveal that the conspiracy against General Mfazi reached the highest levels of power. One of his investigations placed the crime scene on the president's farm. The Minister of Police sat in the president's office when he received news of the death and sighed with relief. A chief of staff in the presidency directed the seizure of evidence from his home, and these files were to be handed to General Vuma. The files have never been recovered. We believe some have been shredded. Under those circumstances, I could not in good faith direct this disclosure to the Commander-in-Chief of the country or make the Mayday call to him. The very office that should be the ultimate guarantor of accountability might itself be implicated in the circumstances surrounding General Mfazi's death. Now let me ask you this. Was the Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi of KZN, tiny little province, did he intentionally have that press briefing while the president was out of the country? In light of this paragraph I just read, my immediate reaction, absolutely yes. That was on purpose because the highest office is compromised. Ooh. So let me continue reading. I came to Parliament because Parliament is the constitutional body tasked with holding the executive accountable. I came to this committee because it's seized with investigations, allegations that go to the heart of criminalization of our state institutions. This disclosure is founded upon the following sources: my personal knowledge and expertise as a trained crime intelligence analyst with 8 years of service in SAPS, my direct interactions with the late Lieutenant General Sandile Christopher Mfazi, who personally contacted me the days before his death. Oh no, not Brigadier Nicholas Gininda of the Cold. I'm jumping ahead. Let me read this to you. My personal examination of the original official SAPS pocketbook belonging to Lieutenant General Sandile Mfazi, made available to me by his widow, Mrs. Lindelo Mfazi. This pocketbook contains contentious notes made by General Mfazi in the execution of his official duties during the year 2020. This pocketbook was officially copied and certified at the High Court. The original handed over to investigators Brigadier Gininda of the Cold Case Unit, who is on page 283 of Paul O'Sullivan's book and was flown to the Czech Republic by Paul O'Sullivan. This is the Gininda that has the original pocketbook. I don't know why Bass didn't lead with Brigadier Gininda right at the top. We already know what's up. If you follow the sentence of me, child, drop a one because you already know what's up. Point number 4, who General Mfazi was and what he investigated. General Sandile Christopher Mfazi was not an ordinary police officer. He was a commander of Umkhonto Wesizwe who trained and commanded former Minister Bekicele and many others in Angola. He served his country for 39 years, rising from warrant officer to the second highest detective in the nation. He was a man of unimpeachable integrity who took seriously his mandate to root out corruption within the very institution he served. In the months before his death, General Mfazi was investigating matters that threatened the highest levels of power. His investigations included the Phala Phala burglary at President Ramaphosa's farm. The official version of the events recorded by the public protector is false. Oh my goodness. And I just have to read this. General Mfazi was not informed of the burglary by Major General Wali in March 2020. Even former National Commissioner Kehla Stole disputes that account. The truth is that Arthur Fraser first alerted General Mfazi to the matter in June 2020. Initially, Mfazi dismissed Fraser's allegations, believing that Fraser was attempting to discredit the president. However, after conducting his own inquiry, Mfazi discovered that the Phala Phala matter was far more serious than he had imagined. His investigation revealed that an unauthorized covert operation had been conducted using the Secret Service account and that this operation may have resulted in the death of persons involved or connected to the break-in. Oh, hell no. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is a lot. This is Konengi, okay? So, IPID report confirms President Cyril Ramaphosa unlawfully instructed the illegal use of SAPS funds and officers to hunt Phala Phala burglars. The IPID report into Phala Phala focuses on the conduct of SAPS officers in the kidnapping, torture, and bribery of Phala Phala burglars. This disclassified IPID report states that General Rood of the SAPS Presidential Protection Unit stated in his official SAPS memo that he was directly instructed by President Ramaphosa to accompany President Ramaphosa's advisor, Benjani Chauke, to Namibia. Although General Rood had claimed this trip was for Presidential Protection Unit duties, the IPID report states the purpose of this trip was to hunt for the Phala Phala burglars. The IPID report further states that General Rood's cross-border trip to Namibia was illegal, as SAPS has no mandate to conduct covert cross-border raids. Although the IPID report only focuses on SAPS officials' conduct and not in the legalities of Phala Phala dollars stuffed in the mattress and sofas at President Ramaphosa's farm, or on the involvement of the president in the illegal SAPS operation, this IPID report has now confirmed that President Ramaphosa illegally instructed SAPS General Rudy to do illegal police operations. This report exposes the public protector, Advocate Kokela Tsalega, lied in her report that President Ramaphosa was not involved in the illegal SAPS operations to hunt down, kidnap, and torture the Phala Phala burglars. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a lot to digest. Let me pause this video here. I'll be back with the part 2 because I want to read the IPID report aloud. Wow. Wow.